Hello there.
Hello there.
Alrighty then, my Jedi and Sith friends, hello and welcome back to another Star Wars video. So great to see you here again, whether it's your first video or you've been here for years. Thank you for joining me once again as we dive into the galaxy far, far away. And as you're probably aware, today is the first day of Disney D23 2026. Later on, we should have the entertainment showcase, hopefully some public trailers for Starfighter, for Ahsoka Season 2, and when those drop, I will be covering them. Very excited to be making some breakdowns again, and if you've not done so already, my friends, please be sure to hit the big subscribe button down below and ring the bell to never miss a single upload. But as we await a potential trailer and release date for Ahsoka Season 2, we have an official first look at the costumes for the show. Now, we always had a hunch that this show was taking a very different direction for Season 2. And something which stood out in all of the rumours and the leaks was the emphasis on flashbacks. We had a few in the World Between Worlds in the first season, but for Season 2, Dave Filoni is fulfilling his long wish to bring more of them to live action. But did you know, they're going to be some of the most unconventional flashbacks none of us would have ever guessed. But first things first. So these costumes are at the Lucasfilm Pavilion, which we already knew about, and we also have some Mandalorian and Grogu props on display. And based on things certain members of the cast and crew have been tweeting about, it looks as though it's going to be a pretty big day for Ahsoka. But let's focus on these costumes. For the most part, with only a couple of adjustments or changes, they're exactly what you would expect. But there are a couple of massive surprises, and these give us some unprecedented insights into what Dave Filoni is doing with the second season. The one costume which stands out the most is this one, a cold weather jacket that belongs to Anakin Skywalker. Because in the present day, after Return of the Jedi, Anakin is a Force ghost, it's safe to say that this costume is for Clone Wars flashbacks, but not the most conventional ones, because until today we assumed that the flashbacks were just going to be to the Mortis arc. But this jacket seems to imply an ice planet, and if you know your Clone Wars history, then it should look very familiar to you. It harkens back to the very first season. To be more specific, Season 1 Episode 15 Trespass, on the planet of Auto-Plutonia. They're not identical, but it's the most similar to any that Anakin has ever worn. The coat itself is actually more reminiscent of the one Han Solo wears on Hoth. So in regards to the Clone Wars episode, it's one of the most underrated from the first season, where Anakin, Obi-Wan, Rex and Pantoran dignitaries investigate a Republic base which has gone silent. They discover that a local tribe of Tals wiped out both Republic and Separatist forces. The arrogant Chairman Cho declares war on such natives, but luckily, Senator Ro Chuchi successfully intervenes and negotiates peace, a peace which Master Kenobi advises they don't take for granted. Now here's the thing, I'd be very surprised if the flashback was to that specific episode. It doesn't hold any relevance to Ahsoka or the Mortis gods, so my bet is that it's a separate flashback, one which does involve Ahsoka. And why do I say this? Because right next to Anakin's jacket, there's one for Ahsoka, a winter coat which is reminiscent of, I want to say, Santa Claus, kind of like the one Mariah Carey wears in that one music video. But this is for young Ahsoka, which in a way, more or less confirms to us that Ariana Greenblatt is back. Now let's talk about this costume for just a moment, because some people are saying that it's going to be for a flashback to the Clone Wars Season 4 episode, A Friend in Need. This is where Ahsoka goes to Karlak and wears a similar coat. It was the episode where there was a historic peace conference on Mandalore that was disrupted after Lux Bonteri accused Count Dooku of murdering his mum. It was also the episode with a controversial interaction between Ahsoka and Bo-Katan. So is this coat for a flashback to the very same episode? I'm gonna say no, although a case for the answer being yes is the fact we've already seen the planet of Karlak in live action in The Acolyte, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was Dave Filoni's idea to do that. However, I'm still saying no. For one thing, just like Anakin's coat, there are huge differences in the outfit. Now you could make the argument that for live action, Dave Filoni's going for a different interpretation, but the biggest difference that renders it impossible to be the same outfit is that Ahsoka has her lightsabers on full display, whereas in the Clone Wars episode, she concealed them in R2-D2, only using them right at the end. It could be a new Clone Wars story altogether, with an important purpose in the narrative of this show. Here's my theory. Ahsoka and Sabine are going to be trekking through the snowy mountains of Peridea, trying to catch up to Baylan, and because the terrain is harsh and it's freezing cold, she'll be reminded of the time she faced similar climates in the days of the Clone Wars. Maybe she struggled back then too. Maybe she remembers Anakin's words of wisdom. And maybe in the present day, Anakin's Force spirit is going to be the one to remind her of that flashback. And yet another theory I saw doing the rounds is that Dave Filoni might repurpose his unused concept art of Ahsoka and Sabine trying to find Ezra. Obviously at this point, they've already found him, and Ezra is home. This was drawn before Ahsoka was even written. Dave could repurpose this in their search for Baylan. And a major sign that Lucasfilm is in fact doing this is Sabine's new outfit. She's got a very similar shoulder shawl. I also love the new paint job, extremely Star Wars Rebels coded, and keep in mind, after the reveal in Season 1, she is now a Mandalorian Jedi. But now, my friends, we have to talk about this costume. Because Claudia Black is not returning for Season 2, we have a brand new Nightsister working for Thrawn. This isn't one of the Grey Mothers that we've already met. I think it's a new one. I don't know if it's the same as the creepy one with the tusks that we saw at Star Wars Celebration in Japan, but her costume, her robes, are very different to the other Grey Mothers. It's also a great time to remind you that Thrawn has other forces fighting against the New Republic. Undead Night Troopers, whatever was in those catacombs, and what appears to be younger Nightsister assassins. And if you zoom in, you can actually see some concept art for Ahsoka Season 2 that was not shown in Japan. We have a really cool one of Ahsoka and Sabine, but also Nightsisters with bows, reminiscent of the ones from the Clone Wars. They've even got those pointed hoods. Dave Filoni is really about to give us something truly special. And then we have a new look at Ahsoka and Thrawn. Both very standard, pretty much exactly what you might expect, although there was a rumor saying that Thrawn might get a different outfit in Season 2, but it doesn't mean they're going to showcase it just yet. In other Star Wars updates for D23, my friends, the schedule is confirmed to have something for Star Wars Starfighter. In one way, shape or form there's going to be a teaser trailer, but the question is it going to be for the public? Fingers crossed. And we have a new tease from Rich Gelfond, the IMAX CEO. A few months ago he visited the set of the film and says, quote, "The film is a throwback to the Harrison Ford kind of Star Wars. This is Star Wars going back to its roots." A pretty encouraging comment. Nothing yet in terms of posters, first looks, concept art. Again, that's pretty much all an unknown. But it's going to be great to have more than just 2 behind the scenes stills. Whenever I make Starfighter videos, I never have anything to show you guys. So I would say, while a lot of us are very excited for Ahsoka Season 2, there's also a lot of anticipation because of the unknown surrounding Star Wars Starfighter. We don't know what this film is going to look like, or tone-wise, what it's going to feel like. But returning for a second to the Mandoverse. According to a new rumor, there are more New Republic spin-offs about to be announced. We don't know if they're going to be at D23 Expo, or revealed at Star Wars Celebration, but apparently behind the scenes, Dave Filoni's been working on some more Mandoverse projects. And this comes just days after Rebel ScumCon, where Bryce Dallas Howard was asked the same question, and she responded that she hopes there's more Mandoverse. I think she knows more than she's letting on. But also, at D23 at the moment, my friends, a new experience based off Hugo Durand from The Mandalorian and Grogu is arriving to Disneyland Resort called Hugo's Sweets and Fizz. They're also showcasing a life-size display of Rotta the Hutt. He's his own man. Do not compare him to his dad. He's nothing like him. There are also some posters showcasing Boba Fett and Fennec Shand, Din and Grogu. There was a Grogu animatronic, and according to StarWars.com, later today, Imanis Fundi is going to be taking questions at the pavilion. Lots to look forward to, my friends, but what do you think of our first look at Ahsoka Season 2? Share your thoughts in the comments down below, guys, and if you enjoyed this one, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and may the Force be with you, always.